You're gonna take, so for testing, if it's the right shoulder that she's having pain with, all we're gonna have her do is take her hand and just touch the left tip of her shoulder like that. Okay? What this is doing is compressing that AC joint. If she gets pain while doing this, okay, that's a positive sign. Okay? So straight across. You really want to make sure that the arm is coming across, touching the tip of your shoulder over there.
Oh,
There you
my
go.
shoulder.
Yep. So you're coming all the way across, touching the tip of your shoulder.
You said press the what though?
This is compressing the AC joint. Everyone know what the AC joint stands for? Acromial joint. Yep. Guys, so if she gets pain with this, that's a positive test. The pain will be right along in here, right at the AC joint. Okay? The pain's a positive sign, and that's for AC joint.
So just going across.
Yep, just going all the way touching the other tip of the shoulder. Okay? Like I said, positive for AC joint. It can either be the ligaments or just an impingement. Okay? That's basically AC joint pathology. Cool? Alright. So the next one we're going to go over, we're going to go from the AC joint to the instability. So I'm going to have Erica lay down on her back. So this one is going to be your anterior apprehension test. Okay? So someone who has dislocated their shoulder, this is going to be a really good test if you think that they've dislocated again. You're bringing them out to 90 degrees of abduction, okay, and then 90 degrees of elbow flexion. So in this position. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to just grab her wrist with one hand and basically just her arm with the other, and I'm rotating her back. Okay? You have to be able to make sure that her arm will be off the table. Okay? And I'm just putting her into external rotation. Does everyone see that? Mm-hmm. Someone who's dislocated their shoulder before, they're not going to like being in this position because they feel like they're going to dislocate again. Okay? And that's going to be the positive sign. Because if they feel like they're going to dislocate, they'll actually guard and stop you from doing it. Okay? So that's going to be the positive signs. It's the feeling of apprehension. That's what.
So she was a negative?
So she's a negative. So they'll feel a tightness, but the people that have dislocated before, they'll feel like they'll actually pop out when they're going to get that sensation.
What's that, Mr. Ian?
This is the apprehension test.
Apprehension.
Yep.
So you're just trying to see if they've had one before?
Yeah, so if you suspect that they've dislocated, and basically they spontaneously relocated, and so just a quick out and in, and you want to find out, they'll get that same feeling. So you just want to see if they have the same feeling, they'll try and resist you and won't let you get to any more external
What about like
location.
a sublocation? Like kind of
Subluxation.
That's not completely all the way. That's just a partial.
You look good if you did that.
So this is anterior apprehension test.
Would they have known if they had alcohol? Would they always know if they dislocated it?
They'll get that same feeling being in that position. So, like if I suspected that you had a dislocated shoulder last night, and so I'm just seeing it today, and I put you in this position, you'd be like, yeah, that's the way I felt last night, or I feel like it's going to be the way it was last night. Okay? And so, and often with a dislocation, you're going to get, you'll get capsule, so the joint capsule will be injured, the ligaments will be injured, and then you may also get some labrum damage. Okay, so it's kind of the whole shoulder complex is what gets injured with dislocation. Okay? So if they feel like they're going to go out, that's what you're suspecting. You're suspecting there may be something labrum, there may be something joint capsule, or there may be something with the ligaments. Alright? Everyone clear with that? Okay. That one's anterior apprehension test. Yep. So posterior apprehension is just the opposite direction, okay? So she's still in this position, I'm just going to push her down. A lot of times you're just going to get a stretch with this, okay? A lot of times people are going to feel the stretch, it's called a sleeper stretch, okay? But some people who have dislocated posteriorly, you see it a lot with linemen, okay, like offensive linemen. When they're doing their blocking, their arms are fully extended, and then they have this weight coming at them, and so it pushes it out the back, okay? And so you can either go in this position and roll it down. Like I said, typically you're going to get a stretch with this one, you're not really going to get that feeling. Or if I have her slide to the side of the table, there you go. And then I have her more in this position, and if you slide your shoulders off the table, there you go. And then I just push it down, she'll get that feeling. So it's roughly the same position as like an offensive lineman.
Isn't
Okay.
this dangerous? Because if they did just dislocate it and you put pressure on it, what happens?
You're not trying to dislocate it.
I'm talking about you.
If you do, then obviously you're just gonna hold there, try and relocate it if possible. But typically, we're not gonna get to the point where we're gonna dislocate. Okay. So I'm not putting a lot of force in it. When I was putting her in the external rotation, I wasn't putting much at all. I mean, I'm basically let gravity take it. Okay, and then I'm just putting a little overpressure to see if she resists that or is apprehensive in that position. Same thing with this. Just see if she's apprehensive in this position or in this position with just a little bit of force down. Okay? And then posterior is going to be the same thing. It can be ligaments, it can be capsule, or it can be labrum, any or all. Okay?
You said the posterior was for stretch?
This one? Yeah. Oftentimes they'll just feel a stretch. Okay? And that's because you're stretching the rotator.
For dislocated shoulder, right?
Yeah, that's for posterior. So that's called posterior apprehension test.
You know what I'm saying? But you're still testing for a dislocation?
Yep. Just the other direction.
Okay.
This way they'll typically dislocate it anteriorly. Okay? This way they'll dislocate it posteriorly.
Okay.
Or this way they'll dislocate it posteriorly.
Terrell, just because you got the camera on, you know.
Okay? And then the last one we'll go over for now is I'm going to have her sit up again. Just hang your feet up the end table. And then if you guys over here may want to come to this side, I'm going to just leave up there.
Move.
Just relax. So this is called sulcus sign. S-U-L-C-U-S. Okay? And what we're doing is I'm just going to palpate right at the tip of her acromion. Okay? So right in that space. You can either palpate or you can look. And I'm just going to have her rest her arm at her side. Okay, and I'm just applying basically a traction. Or I'm just pulling it down a little bit. So I'm not trying to pull her whole body down. I'm just trying to pull that arm down. And oftentimes you'll see a little dimple in there.
Mm-hmm.
And that... No, just relax. Scoot my way.
Ow.
And just relax. Okay.
Oh, you hear that?
So you can actually see a little bit there. So see how it's nice and round, it's kind of continuous? When we actually do that on there, does everyone see how there's a little bump right there, a little step off?
Mm-hmm.
And you can feel it come down a little bit. Women are typically more hyper lax, okay, so they're going to have a little bit more mobility. But this is testing for multi-directional instability, okay? So there's obviously been an injury, and so she's unstable in a bunch of different planes, and we can kind of see that by just pulling down on that arm. But that's all it is. It's just a traction. You're looking for, it's called a sulcus, or basically there's like a little gapping there. Sometimes it'll go in. You can feel it, or you can just look for it, and then obviously if you feel it or see it, that's the positive sign for multi-directional instability.
But I've never had an injury.
Like I said, women are just hypermobile,
Like this?
so you may just have a little bit.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's positive.
Yep. Oh. My shoulder hurts all the freaking time. Don't do that. That's really
What's
So
it
how
called?
do you strengthen?
What's the
Do you
name
have
of
to
it?
strengthen?
Sulcus sign.
Typically,
Sulcus
that is
sign.
going to require surgery with multi-directional instability because they go in and tighten up that capsule and keep everything, tighten everything up and try and keep the humerus in there. So let's practice those four.